Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Fish Productions Review, where we review anything that catches our fancy or interest. Today's review is Soul Evolution System by drack2121.ij. Now, this is one of the few self put in stories with a gamer element that is actually very good. A lot fall through very quickly because they make up stuff extremely bad. Like, they introduce characters to the gamer system far too early and make it incredibly bad. This one, it is a lot more nerfed of a gamer system, but it is a very good story because of it. Gamer system typically equals bad story every time. But if you put a gamer system that requires the person to actually have the extremely work hard and don't put the instant dungeon thing in that runs all stories and have him actually go to other worlds like High High School of the Dead, which this is based on like 80% of the time, and his original content, which is Gaia. Um, if you combine all that and this soul system that is in this story, it is a very good story. Now, I will give a basic summary. Reborn as Alexander Ilios Apeiro in another world known as Gaia by an unknown entity that will have embarked on an adventure to develop in this new world and have a place to belong. He will have the support of a system that will allow him to travel between worlds to get stronger and to maintain his happiness and freedom. The plot of Multiverse, Chapter 120, Gaia, Original 21 High School XD. Now, that is pretty much the best summary you can get for this type of story. It is. He inputs himself into the story perfectly, and that is a rare thing in fan fiction. Most things, they just bulldoze their way through and try their dang hardest to make a character fit into the story. This one, they don't really have to, because it the plot of the story just makes it the main character able to fit in almost seamlessly in a lot of occasions. The only problem I have with the story is the main character is a freaking kid, and even after a year in the story, he doesn't seem like he has grown any. Um, he may have grown in personal uh, abilities, but as a person and as a character, there's only been very minimal growth on his end. Not as much as you would expect for a 200 plus chapter story. That is my only gripe about this story. That, and I personally think the chapters need to be a little bit more fleshed out and have a little bit more other things thrown in. I think he needs a few other uh, stronger characters to pop in just to show him things a bit. Also, there needs to be his supporting characters need a massive upgrade, I think. A lot of them are just too backgroundish, especially the first character he got in the story she got majorly sidelined, and it just kind of runs the story a little bit because of how sidelined she got in the story. She needs to take center stage a little bit more in the story. Those are the only gripes I have about this story, and I personally think it could be a lot better if he uh, made the chapters a tiny bit longer. Also, fleshed out the characters a little bit more, but it's all go be mostly in the main character's view of things than other characters. But this story does have the best world building that I've seen in a long while. That's one reason I'm recommending this video, or not video, fan fiction, for people to read and enjoy with their own ways. I personally enjoyed the read. There's a lot of things I probably would have personally changed or made better, but it's hard to do when you're actually writing a story like this because you have to think of the system, then come up with how the system will interfere with those worlds, and then come up with how your character will react in those worlds, even with a minimum knowledge beforehand going to those worlds. It is a lot of work in this type of story that they have to put in to planning. Some people don't really plan that much, and that's the reason a lot of these stories on fanfiction or other sites end after like 20 chapters or less because they just didn't put enough planning into the story. And especially gamer stories, you have to keep up with every single detail in the story or you will mess yourself up big time and stick your head in a wall where you can no longer continue while having to redo the entire story. Um, Personally, I've attempted to write uh, a gamer story 3 times already on 3 different things, and I dropped all 3 of them before I even posted them on fanfiction, just because I only got to like chapter 7 of what I would post, and I ran into dead end on my first one. I just didn't know how to continue it, and I, for the source material of the original world he went to, I haven't played that game in so long that I don't remember how the characters act or react to things. So I had to give up on that one. Then I came up with another one in a sci-fi world, and it ended just the same way. You have to put a lot of planning in these stories. My third one, that one I didn't completely cut off. I didn't realize how much work I would have to go into to create that world. It's not a gamer story per se, but it's based off of it. It's my own version of the story. But I thought about it real hard, and I could either make a fanfiction story, which make it a little bit easier because I have normal content, or I could just make an original story and post it on Amazon as a web novel. So I put that one on hold for the time being because it would require a ridiculous amount of planning. That will take a while. Now, back to Soul Evolution System. This is one of the few stories that you will thoroughly enjoy, and I will highly recommend it. There are a few places in here that I would prefer him to address, especially now in current that he went back to the high school of the dead world. The zombies need a major boost in strength and abilities, um, especially those general zombies or the intelligent zombies that he introduced. Those zombies need a upgrade, and the world's animals, that world's animals need to upgrade too, just to show how things are getting worse and that he actually needs to focus on that world a little bit while simultaneously on his original world so he can actually get stuff done. Um, it needs to be more drama to make an adventure a little bit more worth feeling in this story. That is why uh, those are the bad things I would talk about this story. But that is enough of me just rambling on. Thank you for coming to Dopefish Productions Reviewer, and starting today, I will be posting stories a lot more often, or story reviews a lot more often. And once I finish the majority of the stories that I have gone through, a lot of these stories I decided to go back to and reread a little bit so I can talk about them a bit more. But as of now, that around 400 VOs, it'll be around then. I'm gonna start doing manga and I guess anime, maybe. I'm a bit eh, thrown off by that. I'm thinking about doing manga reading and do a manga review off of each arc in a manga that I already pick and read. I think that would get a few people may like that or not. If you think that's a good idea, just message me about it and I'll do it. Um, I was always planning on once I finished enough of these fan fictions that I'd probably go back and pick a few of these fan fictions and maybe read it on YouTube or pick a random book like Harry Potter or one of those stories and actually read it on YouTube. Not only just to improve my reading skills, but also to just as entertainment for people. Because not many people like reading nowadays. They prefer to listen to stuff and other things on those lines. I'm like that too. But I think if I can get into reading good enough, and I think people would enjoy that. Just listening to classic stories that I could get a hold of and read. But that is not all that I want to do on Dopefish Productions. I do occasionally want to do gameplay videos of me playing like Escape from Tarkov and other things on those lines. But that's for later, and that is about all. Thank you for coming to Dopefish Productions. Peace.